Welcome mtg-portal, and today we are going to be talking about Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. She is a 4/4 angel whore with flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink, and at the beginning of your instep, proliferate. For a lot of people, proliferate means poison counters. It means infect. For us, no. It means planeswalkers and ultimating them the second they enter the board or getting close to that point. So without further ado, let's break it down and see just exactly what Atraxa Praetor's Voice brings to the board in this EDH deck tech. Stay tuned. First up, we are going to be talking about planeswalkers. In our Atraxa Praetor's Voice EDH deck tech, we have 17 planeswalkers. So without further ado, let's break into them. Alright, our first planeswalker up is Liliana of the Veil. Nobody enjoys this experience. I mean, it is hand discard, it is creature sacrifice. And what I love is it's forcing your opponents to put their permanents into two piles, choose one, and sacrifice the other. It's a board choice that nobody wants to make. We run that with Liliana Vess. Again, it is hand discard, it is board tutor for you, and it enables you to put all creature cards in all graveyards into play under your control if you ultimate her for 8. Easily accomplished with the proliferate in this deck. We've also got Obnixilis Reignited. I mean, he's a Phyrexian Arena on a stick. He is creature destruction, and he's going to force your opponents to take 2 damage whenever a player draws a card. That's fantastic. Another planeswalker I really love in this deck is, of course, Ashiok Nightmare Weaver. It's all about exile, exiling from the top of your opponent's library, exile your opponent's hand and graveyard, and then of course being able to play cards you exile from them. Fantastic. We've also got Sorin Grim Nemesis. You can put a shit ton of vampires on the board equal to the highest life total among all players, which would obviously be you. He deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life. And of course he's got card advantage. Absolute wonderful planeswalker, fits wonderfully in the deck tech. We also run Vraska the Unseen. Again, it's creature destruction. She's basically got death touch, and you get these cool little black assassin critter tokens that if you can get them across the board, you instantly win the game. Why would we not run Vraska the Unseen? You know, we tip the scales with Garruk Apex Predator. Again, he's creature destruction, planeswalker destruction, creature creation, and of course your opponent's going to get an emblem that whenever a creature attacks, it's going to automatically buff to +5/+5 and gain trample. So I mean that right there just makes an 8/8, smacking him in the face. If that's not bad enough, then his twin brother Garruk Wildspeaker comes in and enables us to untap target lands. Again, it's more creature creation, and he also buffs all creatures attacking by +3/+3, and they all gain trample. So if an 8/8 wasn't bad enough, now you got an 11/11 on your hands. Now, we also combo that with another wonderful planeswalker, highly underrated, and that's Nissa, Voice of Zendikar. I think she's fantastic. Again, it's creature creation, proliferating, putting counters on each creature you control, and gaining life for the number of lands and card advantage that you control. Absolutely fantastic. We've got Ajani, Mentor of Heroes. Ultimate him, gain 100 life, pop out 100 vampires, own your opponents from Sorin. He's got hand advantage, he's got card advantage, and of course he's allowing you to put counters on creatures you control. So you really can't go wrong with having Ajani in the deck. His twin brother likes to come out and play as well. Ajani Unyielding. Ajani Unyielding is going to do a lot of different things. Lets you put proliferate counters on creatures and planeswalkers you control, exiling creatures, and of course you're getting hand advantage with this guy. Cannot go wrong with this. I mean, absolute key to the board state. I love the exile, and I love the proliferating. We've also got Tamiyo the Moonsage. Great way to lock your opponents down. You draw a card for each tapped creature target player controls, which is fantastic. You can tap target permanent and it won't untap during its player's next untap step. And then, of course, you get an emblem where you have no maximum hand size, and whenever a card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you may return it to your hand. So, great recursion. We also have Teferi, Temporal Archmage. It's allowing you to untap permanents. You get card advantage. And you're also going to get an emblem that you can activate your loyalty abilities of Planeswalkers you control on any player's turn, basically at instant speed, which is disgusting. Especially if it's a sack creature ability and they play something you don't want on the board, pop it, get it off the board, and don't have to worry about it hitting a Planeswalker you control. We also rock Narset Transcendent. She's a fun card to play with. You get an emblem that your opponents can't cast non-creature spells. When you cast your next instant or sorcery, it's going to gain rebound, and you can look at the top card of your library, and if it's a non-creature, non-land card, you can reveal it to your opponent and then put it directly in your hand. Honestly, I don't really care about revealing it because they're going to know it's coming next turn anyways. Great synergy in the deck. You know, we also run Gideon Jura. He's a fantastic one. Destroy target tapped creature. During target opponent's next turn, creatures that player controls have to attack Gideon, and he becomes a 6/6 human soldier creature that is still a planeswalker, but you prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. So basically, they all attack, they don't do any damage to him, he stays on the board, and he's a giant wall to buffer your other planeswalkers, comboing with Tamiya. Great ability. Of course, we have Karn Liberated. Nobody likes this. You know, you're exiling your target opponent. As you're exiling their permanents, you can reset the board. If you do reset the board, you gain control of all permanents you exiled. Target player exiles a card from his or her hand. It +4s Karn. I mean, you can ultimate him in literally a turn to 2 turns, depending if doubling season's out. Absolutely disgusting. And then, of course, we do have Jace the Mind Sculptor. Just gets a little bit funner. You know, look at the top card of target player's library. You can put that card on the bottom of that player's library. You can draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on the top of your library. Again, more scrying. Return target creature to its owner's hand. And then, of course, exiling all cards from target player's library, and then that player is shuffling his or her hand into his or her library, basically almost just shutting down your opponent at that point in time. Fantastic synergy for the deck. Alright guys, so next up we're going to talk about the enchantments you'll see featured in this Atraxa Praetor's Voice EDH deck tech. There are quite a few with fantastic synergy. Let's get started. First on that list is Doubling Season. Basically it's Proliferate on a stick. If you cast a Planeswalker and Doubling Season's on the board, if it has 4 loyalty, it now has 8 loyalty. Same if you do any effects that would put 1 or more tokens into play under your control. Great card. We also combo that with Sylvan Library, helping you stack the deck and ensure that you've got an infinite card draw on your hand. So drawing 1 card, you're going to draw 3. The other 2, you can pay 8 life for total to keep both cards, or you can scry and stack them. We've also got Zendikar Recursion, great way to ensure we've got plenty of mana to get everything out on the board as quick as we need to. Whenever you tap a land for mana, you're going to add 1 mana to your mana pool of any type that land produced. So swamp equals another swamp, island another swamp, etc. You get the point. Plus, when you play a creature, you draw a card. We have Exploration. Again, helping with that mana ramp front. So if you do Kadama's Reach or an Explosive Vegetation, put a card in play tap, put a card in your hand, play that next card untapped because this is going to let you do so. We also run Oath of Jace. When Oath of Jace enters the battlefield, you do draw 3 cards, and then you're going to, of course, discard 2. But at the beginning of your upkeep, you get to scry X, where X is the number of planeswalkers you control. We also have Rhystic Study, again, helping gridlock your opponents. Whenever they cast a spell, if they don't pay 1, you draw a card off of it. Great way to generate that hand. Inexplorable Tide, again, proliferating. Whenever you cast a spell, you proliferate. Adding more counters to your planeswalkers, to your creatures, absolutely essential in this deck. Wonderful enchantment. Alright, so I also added this card for a little bit of fun and flavor, and that is Leyline of the Void. Sweet and short, if it's in your opening hand, you play it for free. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard, remove it from the game instead. Basically gridlocks your opponent and they can't play anything from the graveyard. Then we do have Phyrexian Arena. It is more card advantage. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life, helping you keep that 7-card hand and dominate the board. Alright, so next up we're going to talk about the artifacts featured in Atraxa Praetor's Voice in our EDH deck tech today. Quite a few. There are a wide variety of mana ramp and other goodies, so let's dive right in. Starting with mana ramp, we have Thran Dynamo. Tap it to add colorless mana. We've also got Soul Ring, again tapping to add colorless to your pool and mana fixing. We've also got Chromatic Lantern, enables you to tap for any color. And as well as that, we've got Gilded Lotus, tapping for 3 of any color. Moving on to mana ramp, we have Lightning Greaves. Equipped creature has Haste and Shroud. Fantastic for your commander. Great way to protect Atraxa. Comboing Lightning Greaves with Darksteel Plate to ensure that Atraxa is indestructible and never removed from the board state. A fantastic way to ensure your proliferate happens every turn. We do have Synthesized Divining Top. A great way to stack your deck and ensure that you get the cards that you want and the trash that you don't need on the bottom of the deck. Again, we've got the Chained Veil. I love this card. Basically, long story short, is you can activate your Planeswalker's loyalty abilities the second time each turn, and it doesn't count against you. Wonderful way to just ensure that you gridlock the board. And last but not least, we have Helm of Obedience. Why is Helm of Obedience on the deck, you might ask? Well, the next thing we're going to talk about is that card, and that's right, it is infinite combo time. Helm of Obedience and Leyline of the Void. 2 of my all-star favorite cards and my favorite combo, hands down, in Magic the Gathering. How's it work? Let's break it down. Helm of Obedience and Leyline of the Void. Helm of Obedience states, put the top X cards of target opponent's library into his or her graveyard. Continue doing this until you put X cards of a creature card into that graveyard. However, Leyline states that if a card will be put into an opponent's graveyard, remove it from the game instead. Basically, Leyline cancels out the Helm of Obedience ability and you mill them till infinity. You basically mill their entire deck by tapping 1 mana. Cannot go wrong, and your opponents will hate you for life. Alright, next up we're going to talk about the creatures featured in this Atraxa Praetor's Voice EDH deck tech. Let's dive right in. My personal favorite and first up is Deep Glow Skate. Basically, he's a proliferate on a stick. Whenever he enters the battlefield, double the number of each kind of counters on any number of target permanents. Then we have Aeromancer, allowing us to bounce back our instants and sorcery cards from our graveyard to our hand. You'll see how he wrecks face in an infinite combo here in a minute. We also have Peregrine Drake. When it enters the battlefield, untap to 5 target lands. Does have flying. Not too great by itself, but when comboed, quite disgusting. And the key to all combos is Deadeye Navigator with his Soul Bond ability, basically allowing you to flicker. And that is what makes all of these combos and creatures so deadly in the deck. We've also got Gilded Barn, great little guy just to help proliferate when we need it. As well as Eternal Witness, allowing us to bring any target card from our graveyard back to our hand. You'll see why that's important here in a moment. And rounding that up with Solemn Simulacrum, or the Sad Little Robot. There's a battlefield, you get to play a land, leaves the battlefield, you get to draw a card. And then we have more infinite combos. That's right. It is infinite combo time, round 2 for this Atraxa EDH deck tech. Let's dive right in. Our first infinite combo, Deep Glow Skate and Deadeye Navigator, infinite proliferate. Aeromancer, Deadeye Navigator, infinite bounce back. Peregrine Drake, Deadeye Navigator, infinite mana. And last but not least, Eternal Witness, Deadeye Navigator, infinite recursion from our graveyard. Absolutely disgusting. Alright, and coming up next we do have the instance block in this Atraxa Praetor's Voice EDH deck tech. Let's dive right in and see what we got. Starting out strong with Swords to Plowshares. We also combo Swords with Path to Exile, great board control and synergy. We have also got Cyclonic Rift in case things get a little edgy on the board state. Brainstorm for card advantage. Comboing that with Impulse for additional card advantage. We do have Cryptic Command, great with Tamiyo, and following that with Steady Progress for additional proliferate and card advantage. Alright guys, moving right along, we're going to talk about the sorceries in this Atraxa Praetor's Voice EDH deck tech. Let's start out with our tutor base. We have Demonic Tutor, allowing you to get the card you need quickly and efficiently. Moving into Diabolic Tutor, also allowing you to get the cards that you need to dominate the board state. We have Yawgmoth's Will, in the event that you need to play out of your graveyard. We also have Diabolic Revelation for infinite card draw. as long as you can pay X. Wrath of God to ensure the board state is cleared, as well as Supreme Verdict, just in the event that they try to counter it. We've also got Blatant Thievery. They play something that we want and don't want them to have. Fantastic. Time Stretch, enabling us to take a couple extra turns after this one, as well as Tezzeret's Gambit, drawing some cards and additional Proliferate. We've also got Cultivate for a little bit of mana ramp acceleration, as well as Kodama's Reach. Moving into additional mana acceleration, we've got Explosive Vegetation. We are also running Summer's Bloom to pay additional lands, as well as Skyshroud Claim for additional mana acceleration. Alright guys, at last we've come to the end of our EDH deck tech for Atraxa Praetor's Voice. We're going to go over the land base. Starting out with basic lands, we are running 6 forests and 6 islands. We have 4 plains and 4 swamps. Going to be moving into our fetch lands. We're starting out with Polluted Delta. Moving into Windswept Heath. And rounding out our fetch lands with Flooded Strand. Now moving straight into our scry lands, we do have Temple of Silence. We're also going to be running Temple of Deceit. We have Temple of Mystery. And we have Temple of Milady. Now moving into Shocklands, we're going to start out with Hollowed Fountain. We are also going to be running Watery Grave. Moving from Watery Grave, we have Temple Garden. We are also going to be running Godless Shrine. And we are going to be running Overgrown Tomb, and ending our Shockland base with Breeding Pool, which moves us into our utility land base, starting out with Cephalid Coliseum. Going to end that with Command Tower, and our final utility land is going to be Reliquary Tower, so that we have no maximum hand size. At last, we have come to the end of Atraxa Praetor's Voice and our EDH deck tech. Please remember, guys, that this deck tech is all about proliferating your planeswalkers and dominating the board. This is not a creature-based deck. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck tech. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section down below. I would love to hear what you guys would do differently, what you enjoyed about the deck tech, and what you did not enjoy about it. If you did, however, like it and you plan to build it and play test it, give this video a thumbs up, and once you do, let us know how it worked out for you. If you make any changes, also, please feel free to leave those in the comments down below. You can find the complete deck tech list down below at tappedout.com. And if you'd like to become a patron and help support mtg-portal and the content we produce, there's a link down below for that as well. As always, if you haven't already subscribed to mtg-portal, I have no clue what you're waiting for. If you're waiting for the end of time, it's probably not going to be here during your lifetime, so you know what? Hey, click that link down below, smack the bell so it notifies you when all new content is coming out by our channel. As always, guys, thank you for being a patron and a viewer of mtg-portal. We love and appreciate your support. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the deck tech, and we will talk to you all soon. Until then, take care, kick ass, have fun playing Magic the Gathering, and have a wonderful day. Thanks, guys.